I feel honored to be here today on this very significant policy development dialogue aimed at defining the way forward in the march towards the point of taking electricity for granted in Nigeria. A unique occasion such as this calls for some memory recall. As many of you here would recall, this march started during the administration of President Obasanjo with the enactment of the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act 2005 and the eventual unbundling of the vertically integrated behemoth, NEPA, into various successor companies under a transition entity called PHCN. The EPSR clearly spelled out the main processes for the transition of our electricity industry from full government ownership and management to one driven by the private sector in complete market mode under very robust regulation. Indeed, the last 3 national records set in power supply, both at peak level and energy delivered, were recorded within 3 months of the reconstitution of the task force. On the reform front, with the leadership of the Ministry of Labor, a major milestone in the reform, which was a resolution of all labor issues and setting labor in total harmony with the reform agenda, was achieved. Now to the main reason for our assembly today. Those of us conversant with the 2010 version of the roadmap will readily agree that it has performed impressively as a guiding tool for the reform. Nevertheless, there is a clear need to revalidate the projections that are in that version and bring out a revised edition which incorporates current realities and new underlying imperatives for future projections. This is the purpose of this technical assembly. In this regard, I render our humble appreciation and sincere welcome to the leader of the sector, the Honorable. We are confident that with his leadership, throw up will be handled with enthusiastic commitment and passion. You're welcome, sir.
The Presidential Task Force on Power is indeed a proven technical resource to the sector, and the present administration intends to fully utilize it to foster rapid development in the sector, as well as tackle most of the technical challenges, especially in the areas of efficient project planning, timely project delivery, facilitating process coordination between sector entities, and generally the provision of validated performance metrics for the power reform agenda. As we progress into the threshold of handing over the sold assets to the successful bidders, the distribution companies must sit up during this transition period. Any of the officers in the distribution companies found to be sabotaging the revenue collection targets of the market will be made to face the consequences of the law. This is because government will not tolerate complacency and ineptitude within these companies, which could build up additional burdens of liabilities through misconduct or sabotage to the reform agenda in the power sector. While wishing you very fruitful deliberations, you must know that power delivery to this country is a task that must be accompanied, and uninterrupted power supply is realizable and will be realized and paramount to the President's reform agenda.
As the Chairman House of Reps Committee on Power, I can say with a great deal of authority that how far we are able to resolve the energy problems of Nigeria will determine how far we can achieve the fundamental goal of the Nigerian state, which is security and welfare of our people. Electricity scarcity is at the heart of the challenges of underdevelopment in Nigeria. The point I'm making here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is if we do not provide some measure of financial backing to these generation companies between now and when the bidders of the various companies, be they Disco or Gencos, take over, we may have a crisis in our hands.
This revised version shall properly reflect current and long-term projections for the power sector. I also believe that the output from this exercise shall make the stakeholders a lot wiser, more determined, and more prepared to harness the planning ideas in this very, very needed sector of the economy. I foresee the happenings here these next 2 days to be the determining factor in our achieving the 40,000 megawatts come 2020. Definitely, we want to believe that it's a foregone conclusion that December achievement of 10,000 megawatts is already met even before we start this particular retreat, because I believe all the people here are on one page. So my job here is simple, to just declare this very, very honorable retreat open. I appreciate the Chairman Presidential Task Force for picking up from that summit and making this possible today. I encourage each and every one of you in this very, very conducive atmosphere to brainstorm, to think seriously, and to bring the best to this table. So I hereby declare the roadmap 2.0 open. Thank you.